Hello there. After the first big day of free agency, we knew that the Toronto Maple Leafs had about $3.5 million to spend in free agency, and they made no bones about the fact that they wanted it to be on forwards. Well, in the last 24 hours, the Leafs get two of them. The Toronto Maple Leafs have signed winger Ondrej Kase to a one-year, $1.25 million contract, and winger Nick Ritchie to a two-year, $2.5 million deal. One thing both of these players have in common, besides the fact that they are wingers, is that the Boston Bruins just let them go. And I'm pretty sure we can let go of the idea that not qualifying a player or letting them walk means they're bad. In a full 56 games last season, Nick Ritchie had 26 points, that's not going to blow you away, but 15 goals, which was a career high in just 56 games. So he was going to blow his pace out of the water. He was going to hit 20 goals at least. And in 11 playoff games this past season, Ritchie contributed 1 goal and 3 assists for the Bruins for 4 points. Also with the Bruins, in the bubble, he had just the 1 goal and no assists in 8 games with the Bruins. But how many of you have looked at this signing, or how many of you have looked at the Nick Ritchie discourse over the last 7 years and thought, yeah, this guy's gonna win the Rocket Richard? In the 19 playoff games that Ritchie played with the Bruins in the bubble and this past season, he landed 59 hits. That's more like it. That's over 3 hits per playoff game, and over his career, he's landed 120 hits in 38 Stanley Cup playoff games. Thank you to Hockey Reference for that stat, and that's also over 3 hits per game. And the reason I jump straight into those stats and straight into the playoff stats is, who cares about the regular season, dude? Who cares? Yes, career best goal pace last regular season. This team, I don't really think they're going to be better in the regular season than they were last year. They certainly aren't on paper. But as we know, that wasn't the problem. Again, according to Hockey Reference, he is 6'3", 234 pounds. He is one of the biggest players on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he will punch you in the face, which comes in handy. Now, he does take a lot of penalties, and I'm not talking about fighting majors, I'm talking about a lot of minor penalties, which is gonna test a narrative with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Because over the past few years, especially before this past season, the narrative has been, well, the style of hockey that the Leafs play does not welcome penalties. The Leafs haven't taken a ton, and they also haven't drawn a ton. But then this past season came, and Simmons joined the team, and Bogosian joined the team, and Muzzin was still there, and it became very obvious that, oh, so you're just not gonna call anything. Teams were cross-checking the Leafs, and the Leafs were cross-checking them right back, and a lot of it just went uncalled. Another thing that we know about the National Hockey League is when they call a penalty against you, they're going to make it up. It's on paper, they're gonna make it up. There's 1 or 2 teams per season where that doesn't apply. If you take a lot of penalties, you're going to draw a lot of penalties, and vice versa. That's just how it works. So if Ritchie does continue to take a ton of penalties with the Leafs, I hope the penalty kill is sharp, but the power play is going to have to be better as well, because they're going to get more power plays. It's dumb, it's not how it should work, but it is. What I really love about this Ritchie contract, besides the fact that it's $2.5 million, and that's pretty affordable for what he brings to the team, I was really surprised it's 2 years. That's so nice. I'm so tired of every year having to recycle the same group of complementary players. 2 years, Michael Bunting 2 years as well, so you don't have to worry about that. Oh, that's nice. That's some tidy business, to quote Staffengraph for Kyle Dubas. Couple more things on Nick Ritchie before we get to Ondrej Kase. You're never gonna guess who Nick Ritchie played for! It's, well, sort of true. He played a couple dozen games for the Sioux Greyhounds, yes. But, as Rachel Dory points out, Nick Ritchie played 89% of his junior career with the Peterborough Petes, 189 of 212 games. He was acquired for a playoff run as a rental. He was developed as a Pete. I get the Sioux narrative, but the bar needs to be at least a full season. This is lazy and pointless. It's also a good contract. Is it lazy and pointless, or is it fun? It's both. No, she's right. She's right. But it is fun, but it is true. Ritchie also getting the Don Lucian stamp of approval. Ritchie is a solid middle six winger who will test Toronto's penalty killing efficiency greatly this season. It's great that William Nylander and Nick Ritchie are on the same team. They were both part of that highly touted 2014 draft. Some people thinking that the Leafs should have picked Ritchie over Nylander. Well, now they have both. And also Nick Ritchie is not just some meathead. He's been playing better and better hockey in his career, the best goal pace of his career I just mentioned, but he also brings another element as well. That's great. Then there's Ondrej Kase, and I'll go straight to the numbers here and then dial it back. From J Fresh Hockey, Ondrej Kase signed to a $1.25 million contract by Toronto, was shaping up to be an excellent two-way scorer when he got hit by awful injury problems. Low-risk move by the Leafs with a lot of upside if he can get and stay healthy. Now, these are the numbers that J Fresh attached to that tweet, and this is from Top Down Hockey. As you can see, Kaše was top half of the NHL in virtually everything. Really good at driving offense, but still a defensively responsible player. He could finish as well. He was good, man. He was good a couple years ago. And as for the Bruins not valuing Kaše, that's not true at all. At the 2020 trade deadline, which we now know was a disaster for a lot of teams because the pandemic hit like 2 weeks later, Kaše was one of the half dozen players or so to go for a first-round pick. From HockeyReference.com, this was the trade on February 21st, 2020, traded by the Anaheim Ducks to the Boston Bruins for a first-round pick in 2020, Axel Andersson and David Backes. So Backes there was obviously the contract dump, but there was a first-round pick involved, and Andersson, the other player there, was a second-round pick. So he is, or at least was, an analytical darling. He does have a 20-goal season under his belt, although that was 2017-18, and his $1.25 million contract, A, is 1 year, and B, is variable. If everything goes disastrously with him, the Leafs can put him in the minors at no cost against the cap. And it's not our money, so I personally do not care. This is the kind of low-risk deal that the Leafs should be making. A lot of people I've seen have compared it to Alexander Galchenyuk. I think that's a little different. The guy I would compare this to is a little more along the lines of Tyler Ennis. Clearly a solid player a few years ago, had a really hard time getting healthy, signed a deal early in free agency, early in the summer with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Then he can work with their training staff, he can work with their medical staff, he can work his way back to health, and he can work his way back into being an effective NHL player. Is it guaranteed? No, but he was worth a first-round pick and a prospect just a year and a half ago. It's a good bet, and I think the Leafs in particular are a good fit as a team for Kaše, and I could see him slotting into the top 6. That goes for Ritchie too. CJ with a good tweet here. There's a theme to the Leafs free agent signings. Nick Ritchie, Ondrej Kase, and Michael Bunting are all entering their 26-year-old season. Each can be viewed as an upside bet that carries top 6 potential for a spot alongside the core 4. I like that he capitalized core 4. Honestly, considering they had a limited amount of space to work with, I like what they did here. A word of caution, though, if you're going to be trying to make your roster and figure out what the lineup is next season, which I'm not going to do until training camp hits, but a little word of caution. The cap hit is all over the place. Remember, they're going to have to send guys down and bury them, and someone might get claimed off waivers. They might make another deal. If the Leafs are a little over the cap now, relax, they won't be for a while, because you can actually spend over the cap in the offseason and you have time to not be over the cap. The Leafs are not the only team in this position. Another thing I'm going to say, even though I'm not going to make a roster for another at least month, if your Leafs roster for next season has Pierre Engvall on it, you're wrong. I just don't think that's how they want to spend their money. I don't think they can afford a luxury like Pierre Engvall, who makes the same as Kaše, by the way. And speaking of how they don't want to spend their money, I hate that Zach Hyman is no longer a Leaf. Oh, I don't even like saying that out loud. I hate it. I really do. But for the amount of money that he signed for in Edmonton, the Leafs were able to sign several good, useful players. I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. And this is part of the reason why I said wait till August 1st, which I know is tomorrow. But this is why I said wait till August 1st. Now that we have a bigger picture, a more fleshed out roster, I feel better. I do. And I knew I would. That's why I wanted to wait. But I want to know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment box down below. How do you like this Leafs team? And even though I'm not going to make my own lineup for next season, I would like you to do that. I want to see. I'm very curious. But for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Is that the case? It's Kaše. Do you think the deals are a little Ritchie? I'm gonna press stop.